Welcome to Mind of AK with AK Wright. I am a writing sculptor, sculpting writer, or whatevs. And besides the whatevs, I am a card-carrying heavyweight who's feeling great. And something about the warm glow of those arches at that one place we know has my fat boy always happy. Last month, they had the adult toy line with the cactus plant variations, and I wanted to do my best to get all 4 of them, and got none of them. If we did get them, you. This week I do a public and professional temper tantrum and recreate one of the toys as a sculpt. This week I chose Grimace, because I always thought he would be the one most likely voted to go on a violent warpath senior year, and I wanted to honor that by making him look like this. So kick back, relax, because this week I'm doing something harder than 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on an artisan bun. Inside my mind. Alright, let's go ahead and get started with our prep work this week. As always, I use aluminum armature wire and shape out the body and the legs and secure the middle with thin floral wire. Once I had the body figured out, I realized I had to reposition the holes for the legs and drill them back in. Just as I got the legs set, it suddenly dawned on me. I have no earthly idea what Grimace is, and I desperately needed to know. Okay, Google, let's not let me down. Okay, I know he says duh a lot, he's not that brave, but that doesn't tell me what he is. Okay. Enormous taste bud, disgusting, but okay. An enormous purple taste bud. Okay. Embodiment of a milkshake or taste bud. Okay, well, wait. Fam, what? Yo, this has to be fan fiction. Grimace T. Jackson? Wait. No, this ain't, no. Bruh. Bro, are you Okay, so I researched a little bit further, and according to the official wiki, that was all not true. While he is lovable, giant and dim-witted with a low IQ, he isn't an African-American, giant, dim-witted taste bud with a low IQ, and he's not stereotypical of any race whatsoever, and that's what was important to me. So as you can see now, I am bulking out the body with aluminum foil, I'm shaping out the head, and what we're going to do now is apply Super Sculpted Ultralight to bulk out the body. With his body pretty much figured out, let's go ahead and do the eyes. I used 2 different size cabochons this week, black, white, and red nail polishes. I do have a full tutorial I'm prepping for the future for you guys, but this is a quick view on how I make eyes. I also want to introduce to you what I go through mentally every week, which I call my 5 stages of personal development. Here's phase 1.
Wow. This looks like Now let's keep going.
Once the eyes are completely dry, I push them into the ultralight, and then to go with the monster / beast theme I have going, I make a lot of claws and teeth. For all of my claws and fangs, I use Super Sculpted Primo and Translucent. And I want him to have larger hands to go with all of these this week, so I also take 2 small cubes of Super Sculpted Original and punch in my thicker armature wire, and bake it all together. And once it's out the oven and it's fully cooled down, I do a knock test. If it sounds like your landlord is knocking the day that your rent's due, you are good to go and we can get on to sculpting. As always, my clay of choice is Super Sculpted and Original Blend.
am I doing? Let's keep going.
After an hour of soul searching and questioning life choices, I collect myself and put all the teeth into the extremely large mouth. My trick with fangs is to push them into a thicker layer of clay, which I use to double in the shape of the gums. Then once I like how they're hanging in place, I'll apply a layer on top which will act as the lips to hold everything in place. Once they are all set, I will go ahead and take a thinner layer of clay and push it into the mouth to add detail which will double as the throat. I'll follow that with a small rope of clay to the top and bottom lips, which will hold everything in place. Once I'm happy with how the mouth looks, this is when I'll start to add small pieces of clay, which I believe adds immense detail and brings this piece some dimension. With the large mouth hole completed that would make any street shark mark proud, I begin to start bulking out his legs with aluminum foil and add clay on top, before giving them 2 spiky toenails on each foot, and then go over this again with clay accents for dimension. I didn't want him to have his 2 large stumps as you saw on the toy, and I took full creative license on this area. I am actually really happy with how the feet came out, and I think they actually look really well. If you agree, please let me know in the comments. A few weeks ago, I actually started implementing this new strategy with my sculpts by doing the body in full and then the arms after. It's actually been working really well. I do this by bulking out the arms with my foil and adding the ultralight on top after I do the sculpting on the body, head, face, etc. Once I finish up both of my arms, this is where I finish off the head by adding his infamous thick eyebrows. I also add some forehead wrinkles and face details just to give us some more dimension. And while I'm finishing up the face, I wanted to add that if you like how this came out, I am actually thinking of doing more at the Cactus plant toys in the future. So if there's one you want me to try to tackle next, or if there's a character in the universe, which is weird to say, that you think I should try to make as well, let me know in the comments. So this is where our first bake happens, and this is normally where I go into phase 3.
Yeah, this is, it's working now. So keep going.
After I add clay to the arms, I start the preliminary work of adding the hands in place, and I get to phase 4, which I can only describe in this term.
Okay. I think we're getting somewhere. Alright, let's keep going.
Once the shock starts to finally wear off, I start to wrap each finger with a roll of clay, shaping them as I go. Then once I have them all to my liking, I'll add one larger claw at the end of each finger. Once I have each finger and claw to my liking, I attach the hand to the end of the arm, wrap it in clay, smooth it all in place, and then rinse and repeat and do these same steps on the other hand. It's normally here where I start to feel validated that I'm actually not doing anything that's wasting my time or my money, and choose to continue to what to do sculpting in the future versus trying to default and sell images of my toenails online. It was also at this moment where I realized the nails that I was using are not translucent Primo, but they're actually glow in the dark Primo, which I will tell everyone on record that I totally knew what was happening, and this is not a glorious mistake which worked out in my benefit in any capacity whatsoever. I'm nearing the final bake, and to do so I'm doing final details on the arms and the shoulders, and this is where I sit back, look in utter amazement, and hit phase 5, which goes like this.
Wow. This came out looking pretty good. Alright, Alright, let's make it keep going, eh?
Once the final bake is cooled down, it's time to paint. For this week, I'll be using a mix of Apple Barrel and Folk Art brand matte acrylic paints, and I'll also utilize 2 specialty paints near the end, which I will show on camera. When it comes to painting sculptures, the best types of paints to use for sculptures are normally matte acrylics. You normally don't want to use glossy or satin, as they are tacky and they leave a tacky feel on your sculptures, which is hard to get rid of. Matte paints also blend better and they usually dry pretty quickly. To paint our best bud, no pun intended, I used this infamous purple, which did take about 2 coats for it to go on. I didn't do any black washing this week, meaning watered down acrylic paint to get into the areas of detail. I didn't feel it was needed this week, and it was actually a nice break because, as most of you know, I do not like black washing, so a week away from that, I did take full advantage of it. Also, the dry brushes still came out pretty good this week as well, and you'll see it later on. Next, we paint the inside of his mouth black, and because I was afraid his mouth and lips would appear as an inevitable black hole, I separated them by doing the gums as a rose pink. As I alluded to this whole video, I go through 5 steps of development, I call it, and this was a crucial part of it. I don't want to sugarcoat, I really didn't feel confident in my sculpt this week, but the one thing I kept saying was to push through, it'll be okay, and I'm actually proud of how this came out. Like this guy, I'm actually a little bit stunned. Once his mouth, gums, and lips are painted, I scratch the paint off the eyes with a wooden dowel, and then take a lighter white-blue shade and dry brush it all over our friend's arms, back, head, and also his legs. As you may have noticed, I've been careful not to get any paint on his fangs or claws if I can help it, because I don't want the paint to dull down and get on the primo. Once all my dry brushing is finished, I take 2 specialty paints this week, Folk Art Color Shift Violet and Deca Art Blacklight Neon and Ultraviolet. I take the power couple and I put them in varied areas just to add dimension to the piece and really bring out this color palette. With the Blacklight Neon specifically, I was careful not to use too much, only mainly on the hands and his mid-range, because I didn't want Grimace to go from purple to a dark pink. The final steps this week are painting the top of his base matte black, the sides to color shift violet, and then I finish him off by adding top coat nail polish and drizzle the inside of his mouth and brush it on his teeth and gums. You can do the same step with UV resin and a blacklight, and it's preferred. However, I'm out of my resin and I had to make an executive decision that was helpful to my wallet. And with that, our big purple boy is happy and he's ready to have the spotlight. Lights, camera, and smaction. I truly hope you all enjoyed watching me make this version of Grimace today. If you did, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and also set bell notifications for future updates. As I stated, I do plan on possibly doing other renditions of this line, or if there's another type of character or drawing you want me to attempt to sculpt, please let me know in the comments. I'm here to entertain. As always, I'll be back next week with a new sculpture for you all. In the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Feel loved and stay blessed, and I'll see you next week. Take care, guys.